Now, on today's show, we're going to be discussing how to improve your business through better interpersonal communication techniques. It's going to be a great show. My guest on today's show is Paul Ryan, presentation skills trainer, personal impact coach and speaker, also the author of How to Network Your Way to Success.
I always say about my clients, you give them a key to unlock a treasure chest of skills and talents that they've already got. So what I do is I take those skills, some of them are theatre skills, though you would never tell the client that, and you encourage them to use those to, say for example, not self-censor so much, so that as well they're using their voice to its full capacity and power. How fast, how long does it take to create an impression? And that's where we decided that it takes no longer than 50th of a second. Well, we didn't decide it, It was written. It was based on some writing of Malcolm Gladwell, who said you've basically got 50th of a second. The first fear in the Western world is getting up and giving a public speech. Is speaking in public.
They'd rather die.
They would rather die. If you want to absolutely enhance everything that you've got in one simple step, stand up straight. And I know it sounds so simplistic, it sounds so straightforward, but it's incredible how posture dictates the way you feel and certainly the way you communicate. Do you know, it's fascinating the way that we give and receive messages. It's the Moravian statistic. He later recanted it, but as trainers we love it, so we've stuck with it. It's 55% body language, 38% tone of voice, and 7% the words you're using. So straight away, the power is in what you see over what you hear, and if you're not looking at the person, you're missing out on most of the way they're communicating their message to you. Tell them what you're going to tell them. Tell them, and then tell them what you've told them. And you see that structure as well. So for example, in the news programs, they'll give you the headlines, then they'll go into the details, then at the end of the show, they'll repeat all the headlines again, so that it goes in. Another great tip actually for people's presentations is look at your content and take half of it away. Big tip, think about Steve Jobs, one of the best presenters in the history of the modern world, okay? He would stand in front of a PowerPoint slide that had one word on it. And the word was something like joy. And then he would talk all about that. When I get up to give a presentation, I think maybe there's been 3 times when I've used slides, and that's because the sponsors or the people employing me have asked me to do so. But most businesses will use them. So I would say a good mixture of all. And is there something else we can do to help simple structure? Yeah, 3 points. True passion, true enthusiasm through what you're saying is vital, and it's incredibly contagious. The first thing I would say is make sure that you're audible, because if people can't hear you, as I said earlier, you've got about 11 seconds before they just go, I can't hear a word. So, there's a whole host of things you need to do to start your presentation, and if you want to win your audience round, all that starts before you've said a word. That's my view. This thing about what we believe what we see. Okay, and if we don't like what we see, already you've got a negative response. Fight or flight's going to go, well, I've got this resource which is my time. Is this person going to fill it with really, really good information that they're going to entertain and educate, or are they going to bore me? My name's Paul Ryan from Improve On You, and the takeaways from today's programme are, if you're going to give a presentation, what you're probably going to find is that your nerves will kick in long before you get up on your feet. So something that we didn't discuss in the programme, but I want you to use, is a positive affirmation. Often we talk ourselves down. We will say, oh, I hate giving presentations. I'm rubbish at giving presentations. It's going to be terrible. And it's the old Henry Ford thing. If you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. The brain is an incredibly powerful tool. And what I want you to do is stop those negative thoughts in their tracks by thinking something positive. So I will always say to myself, for example, and we all get it, I was saying to Steve earlier, coming on this show, I get nervous a little bit, but I'm using the tools and techniques that I want you to use now to put me in a really positive state of mind. So when I was waiting to come in, I used my positive affirmation, which was, I am sharp, polished and professional. I'm sharp, polished and professional. That stops all the negative monkey mind chatter in its tracks with a positive affirmation, a statement of something which is true. Okay, because I am pretty good at what I do, I am professional and I am focused. By telling myself that, that's what I'm going to feel. So before you get up to give your presentation, choose a new positive affirmation and repeat it to yourself. It must be in the now, not I will give a great presentation, because will is always in the future, but I give a strong, clear presentation. I enjoy the presentation that I'm giving.